by the third generation of a family that has retained its financial wealth, 90% of that wealth will be in trust. And everyone in this room is going to assure that that happens. But now I think I'm going to shock you a little. For the last 30 years, I have convened rooms of beneficiaries. No trustees, no trust creators, just beneficiaries. Think for a moment how often you've been in a room of just beneficiaries. I would think not too frequently. Why did I convene these rooms? Because I was wondering what such people thought about their trusts. So I asked them a very simple question. Say, will you tell me, safe room, whether you consider your trust more a burden or a blessing? Every single room, same statistic. 80% of beneficiaries consider their trusts more a burden than a blessing. I ask you the question, are we building resilience? Are we building adaptability? Are we helping people live well? If the consequence of our actions is that 80% say it's a burden. Now really, that's not surprising at all. It's simply that we don't talk to beneficiaries. We name them entitled, dependent, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We could use all the euphemisms, but we don't talk to them. We talk to the people who create the trusts, we talk to the trustees, but we don't talk to the beneficiaries. So we don't know that our labors lead to burden. Now, what is some of the things we could do? What are some of the things we could do? Well, I'm going to ask you again to listen to what I'm about to say and watch my gestures. So here's the question I'm going to ask you. Is a trust, is it a human relationship with a subordinate legal relationship? Or is it a legal relationship with a subordinate human relationship? Okay? Now, all of you are trained to know trusts are not contracts. In fact, they're not legal relationships. They never have been. They are human relationships. However, I will hazard a bet, no money, that for almost everybody when you get to the office in the morning, you think it's a legal relationship, and somewhere down here is the human part of it. Well, if you think that, you get 80% that say it's a burden, and they're right, aren't they? They're not being disrespectful or pejorative. They're actually telling the truth. The beneficiary that is supposed to be the person for whom the trust exists is in fact in a subordinate position. That's a disaster for human beings. And for families with 90% of their wealth in trust, can you do the math? You see what happens to the shirt sleeve proverb? The math is unfortunately all too predictive. So the question that we're raising in our book is, if we look at this as a human relationship, set of human relationships, with a subordinate legal relationship, then maybe the beneficiaries would have a different view.